There are moments when silence speaks louder than words, when individuals reportedly encounter something beyond our comprehension.
That mother back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not.
Only to mysteriously vanish.
The person standing there.
No, it's not.
Or fall silent soon after. These aren't just tales from fiction. They're documented incidents that continue to perplex experts and enthusiasts alike.
The person standing there.
No, it's not.
Dude, have you seen what I've seen right now?
Andrew was just another guy on TikTok, sharing glimpses of his daily life, his job, his girlfriend, his dog. But in April 2022, everything changed. While driving through Alberta, Canada, he spotted something on a mountain ridge, a towering figure, too big to be human. He filmed it, uploaded the clip, and watched as millions of people debated what he had just seen. But the more he searched for answers, the stranger things became. Locals whispered about something living in those mountains, something that wasn't always visible. When Andrew tried to get closer, he was stopped by a shadowy figure claiming he was trespassing, despite being on a public road. Then came the black helicopters, the unmarked cars parked outside his home, and the cryptic warnings that something bigger was at play.
Hey!
His TikTok updates became erratic, shifting from excitement to paranoia. Then, in one unsettling video, he stood in front of a plain wall looking off camera and claimed that everything had been scripted. But his tone, his body language, it all felt wrong.
All the videos that I posted were scripted, they were just fake, they were just strictly for entertainment.
10 days later, he posted again, "You might not see me again."
You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
His followers held their breath, and then silence. Weeks later, his name reappeared. Not in another TikTok, but in an obituary. Andrew Dawson was gone at 34. No cause of demise, no further details, just a chilling, open-ended mystery. Vanished skyward. Some disappearances feel different, like they weren't meant to be solved. Frederick Valentich's case is one of those. A young pilot with dreams bigger than his skills, he took off on October 21st, 1978, expecting a routine flight to King Island. He never made it. No wreckage, no body, no trace. Just a final radio transmission that still chills those who hear it. He was calm at first, but then his tone shifted. Something was following him. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't anything he recognized. A green light, a metallic surface. It was playing games with him in the sky. Then, silence. 17 seconds of a strange metallic scraping noise, and then, nothing. No distress call, no impact alert, just radio static and an empty sky. If we look into the official explanation, they say that he took his own life as Frederick took the plane into the sky and then disappeared. Yeah, that's the official statement, but let's be honest. Does it really make sense? It has to be something else. Some say he staged his disappearance, but if so, where did he go? Others think he saw something the world wasn't ready for. Whatever happened that day, one thing is certain. Frederick Valentich took off into the sky and he never came back. Kate Middleton. Something about Kate Middleton's disappearance had the world buzzing. At first, it was just a simple announcement from Kensington Palace. Kate had undergone abdominal surgery and would be back by Easter. Nothing suspicious, nothing alarming.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London. And at the time, the surgery was successful.
But then, Prince William suddenly canceled an appearance on February 27th, and just like that, speculation took off. Theories ranged from secret illnesses to body doubles, with even AI-generated videos being thrown into the mix. Things escalated when a Mother's Day photo of Kate and her children surfaced. At first glance, it seemed like a sweet family moment until people started analyzing the details. Princess Charlotte's skirt seemed to overlap strangely with her sweater. Kate's hand had unusual motion blur, and the entire image just looked off. The photographer later admitted to editing it, but instead of calming the rumors, this only fueled them further. Then came a video of Kate addressing the public, revealing that she had cancer and was undergoing chemotherapy.
However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy.
But even this heartfelt message wasn't enough to stop the speculation. Some believed the video looked unnatural, pointing out how nothing in the background moved. Others claimed Kate's farm shop sighting and car ride with her mother weren't real. And now Kate is back, looking active and healthy. But her absence, those strange images, and a storm of speculations left lingering doubts. Some believe she saw the monarchy's hidden side, just as Diana once did, and her silence had a purpose. Missing spotlight. Joe Pickler was once a familiar face on screen, but in 2006, his story took a turn that no script could have predicted. On January 5th, the former child actor was last seen leaving a friend's house in Bremerton, Washington, then silence. 2 days later, his car, a silver 1995 Chevrolet Cavalier, was found abandoned near the Warren Avenue Bridge.
The night that my younger brother found Joe's car, he came out here.
His wallet and keys were still inside, but Joe himself was nowhere to be found. The circumstances of his disappearance remain baffling. Some believe he may have walked away from his old life, while others think something far more sinister happened that night. Despite years of searching, no concrete evidence has ever surfaced. His family still holds on to hope, waiting for the day they get the answers they deserve. Until then, Joe Pickler remains a name not just in Hollywood's history, but in the long list of unsolved disappearances that continue to haunt those left behind.
We'd like America's help. We need America's help in helping locating.
The Last Cruise.
Have just been racing with panic that Amy is nowhere to be found, and now the ship is just emptying out.
In March 1998, 23-year-old Amy Lynn Bradley boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas for what was supposed to be a dream vacation. But somewhere between the warm Caribbean breeze and the endless ocean horizon, she vanished without a trace. No distress calls, no signs of a struggle, just an empty balcony where she was last seen. While many speculate human trafficking or foul play, others point to something even more unsettling. Witness accounts described strange lights in the sky the night Amy disappeared, and some crew members reported electrical disturbances, flickering lights, malfunctioning radios, right before she was gone. Could she have been taken, not by human hands, but by something beyond our understanding? Amy's case remains one of the most baffling disappearances at sea, leaving behind more questions than answers. If she was abducted, where did she go? And more importantly, is she ever coming back? Princess Latifa.
I'm allowed to drive. I'm not allowed to travel or leave Dubai at all.
Royal families thrive on secrecy, and Princess Latifa may have known too much. In 2018, she attempted a daring escape from Dubai with the help of an ex-French intelligence officer. But her freedom was short-lived. Emirati forces intercepted her off the Indian coast, and she was returned to Dubai under mysterious circumstances.
It was, I don't know how many commandos, maybe 12, 15, and the 2 Emiratis.
For years, silence followed until 2022 when Latifa reappeared, smiling, meeting with UN officials, claiming she was living as she wished. But what changed? Why was she suddenly free? Was this a carefully orchestrated move to quiet international pressure? Or did she hold information that made her release inevitable? One thing is certain, when it comes to royal affairs, what the public sees is only half the story. Tiffany Gomas.
Get on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Sometimes the strangest things happen right in front of everyone, yet no one really sees them. Take the viral meltdown of Tiffany Gomas, now known as the Crazy Plane Lady. The internet had a field day with her outburst, but was it really just an overreaction? Or did she see something she wasn't supposed to? The official story is simple: an argument over AirPods, a misunderstanding, and an emotional breakdown.
That mother back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not.
But dig a little deeper and things start to feel off. The way she stormed to the front of the plane, her certainty that someone wasn't real, and her refusal to explain why she thought the flight was in danger, it all raised eyebrows. Then there's the aftermath. After this viral moment, she was even visited by men in black who asked her to keep quiet.
Just due to the altercation, I don't want to go into too much detail.
Now the question is, what if this wasn't just a freak out? What if she really saw something, or someone, that wasn't supposed to be there? And what if those in power needed to clean up the mess before too many people asked the wrong questions? maybe the truth isn't about what happened on that plane, but what happened after. Vanishing Flight. The night sky over Lake Superior has held many secrets, but few as puzzling as what happened on November 23, 1953. That evening, 1st Lieutenant Felix Monclay and 2nd Lieutenant Robert Wilson were dispatched from Truax Air Force Base to investigate an unidentified aircraft spotted on radar. Their F-89 Sea Scorpion jet soared into the night, chasing the unknown object at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour. Ground control carefully monitored the situation, watching as the two radar blips, one representing Monclay's jet, the other the mysterious craft, drew closer. Then something strange happened. Instead of engaging or changing course, the two blips suddenly merged into one. Moments later, the radar screen showed nothing. The aircraft, the pilots, everything, gone without a trace. Search teams from both the United States and Canada combed the area, but not a single piece of wreckage was ever found. The official explanation claimed they had intercepted a Royal Canadian Air Force transport plane and that Moncla likely experienced a vertigo, causing a crash. However, Canadian officials denied any aircraft was in the area that night, leaving the mystery wide open. Aaron Belk.
Please let me guys hear this. Wait for it.
It's like deja vu with that Andrew Dawson situation. It all kicked off when some bizarre sounds started echoing all over East Idaho, these deep, booming noises that seemed to come out of nowhere and everywhere at the same time.
Listen.
People were hearing them in the middle of the night, rumbling through the sky like some distant artillery, but there wasn't any storm, no explosions, nothing to explain what was happening. Then this farmer named Aaron Belk decided to document it all. His first video was just him talking about the sounds and wondering what might be causing them, along with a couple of follow-ups speculating about it. But things got weird pretty fast. He dropped another video where his vibe was just off. He said he got contacted by well-educated scientists who told him the booms were totally normal stuff like skyquakes and minor seismic activity.
I was recently contacted by some well-educated scientists who explained the whole boom phenomenon. The booms that we are hearing and feeling are not new. In fact, they've been happening for hundreds of years.
Nothing to worry about, just everyday occurrences, you know? But he looked different in that video. His delivery felt forced, and his eyes kept darting around like he was reading from a script. What started as a fun curiosity ended up being something way bigger. And then, just like that, silence. He didn't post on this again. A lot of people think he was pressured to backtrack by some authorities. What do you think about it? The last broadcast of Granger Taylor. Granger Taylor wasn't your average mechanic. While most people were fixing up cars, he was building a spaceship in his backyard. Not a working one, of course, but a life-sized model that looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Taylor was fascinated with machines. Old cars, steam engines, airplanes, you name it. But what really caught his attention was the idea of extraterrestrial life. He even claimed to have made contact with beings from another world. Then, on a rainy November day in 1980, Taylor left a note for his family. He wrote that he was about to embark on a 42-month journey aboard an alien spaceship. That was the last time anyone ever heard from him. His truck disappeared with him, and despite years of searching, no one ever found a trace of where he went. Some believe he ran off to start a new life, while others think he really did get the trip he was hoping for. Whatever the truth may be, Granger Taylor's disappearance remains one of Canada's most puzzling mysteries. Thomas Mantell. On a crisp winter afternoon in 1948, the skies over Kentucky became the stage for one of America's most intriguing aerial mysteries. Captain Thomas Mantell, an experienced World War II pilot with the Kentucky Air National Guard, found himself at the center of an extraordinary event. It began when multiple observers at Godman Field reported a strange glowing object hovering in the sky, something they described as metallic and enormous, about 250 to 300 feet across. Mantell and his wingmen, who were passing by in their P-51 fighters, were asked to investigate. While his companions eventually turned back due to low fuel, Mantell pressed on, radioing back descriptions of a brilliant metallic object that seemed to be climbing higher and higher. His last known words were about attempting to get closer for a better look. Despite being in an aircraft without high-altitude oxygen equipment, Mantell continued his pursuit above 15,000 feet. Later that afternoon, his plane was found. The Air Force would later suggest that Mantell had been chasing Venus, or a high-altitude skyhook weather balloon, but many found these explanations unsatisfying, especially given the multiple witness accounts describing a clearly visible metallic object performing unusual maneuvers in broad daylight. Danny Casolaro. Danny Casolaro was a journalist with a knack for connecting dots that others overlooked. By 1991, he had spent months investigating a tangled web of government secrets he called the Octopus, a sprawling network of government officials, intelligence agencies, and perhaps the extraterrestrials. What started as a deep dive into a software dispute led him to something much bigger, a story that could change everything. Casolaro was convinced that powerful people were involved in covert operations stretching across multiple continents, linking secret weapons, alien connections, and even aliens themselves. He was determined to untangle this mess and expose the truth in a book he planned to write. But as his research intensified, so did the pressure. Strange phone calls and veiled threats became a regular occurrence. Still, he pressed on, convinced he was close to a breakthrough. In August of 1991, he traveled to Martinsburg, West Virginia to meet with a key source. It was a meeting he had been anticipating for weeks. But after checking into his hotel, something changed. The next morning, his investigation came to a sudden and unexpected halt. The documents he had carried with him, his most valuable pieces of evidence, were gone, and so was his life, never to be seen again. Victor Goddard. In 1935, Air Marshal Sir Victor Goddard had an experience that defied explanation. While flying from England to Scotland, he decided to take a look at an abandoned airfield he had once known. The place was in ruins, hangars falling apart, weeds taking over, and cattle wandering where planes once stood. A few days later, on his return flight, he hit a violent storm. His plane shook, his instruments failed, and soon he was surrounded by eerie yellow clouds. It felt like he was falling endlessly, yet somehow he never crashed. When the storm cleared, the airfield appeared again, but something was different. The rundown hangars were now brand new. 4 planes sat on the runway, one of them painted yellow, a color he'd never seen before. The mechanics wore blue overalls instead of the usual brown. Then just as suddenly as it appeared, the vision vanished, and Goddard found himself back in the storm. Years later, the British Royal Air Force began using blue uniforms and yellow planes, just as he had seen. Whether it was a glimpse into the future or something else entirely, his story remains one of aviation's strangest mysteries. Flynn.
Sean Flynn took off into the jungles of Cambodia to bring the news of the war to the world.
Born on May 31st, 1941 in Los Angeles, California, Flynn followed in his father's footsteps, initially pursuing a career in acting before transitioning to photojournalism. In 1966, Flynn traveled to Vietnam to cover the conflict as a freelance photographer. Flynn fearlessly ventured into combat zones to document the realities faced by soldiers and civilians alike. On April 6, 1970, near the town of Chau Doc in South Vietnam, close to the Cambodian border, he, along with a fellow journalist Dana Stone, disappeared. Flynn was traveling on a rented motorcycle from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, to Saigon, Vietnam. He was caught on film by a French crew involving a passenger situation. It is possible the soldiers shown at the end of the video are the ones responsible for his disappearance, as this is the last known footage of him.
Le reporter Sean Flynn, qui nous a rejoint à vélomoteur, nous signalait des mouvements de...
Many efforts were made by the US government and Flynn's family to locate him and Stone, including offering rewards and conducting investigations. Yet to this day, their fate remains unknown. Flight 19. The Bermuda Triangle is definitely not playing fair, and this story proves it.
Nearly 100 ships and planes have vanished into this enigma.
Back in 1945, 5 U.S. Navy planes from Flight 19 took off from Fort Lauderdale for what was supposed to be a regular mission, but things quickly went off the rails. Led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor, the squadron started having compass issues, running low on fuel, and feeling totally disoriented.
Flight 19 mystery is, flight instructor, he said that his compasses were out.
Their last communications were anxious and fragmented, and then silence. Search teams looked everywhere, but they never found the planes or the 15 crew members. Some folks think supernatural forces snatched them away, while others blame navigational problems. Whatever the cause, Flight 19 just vanished, adding another layer to the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. Sometimes it's not just planes that go missing, but a whole bunch of answers too. Vanished without a trace. From the moment she first soared through the skies, it was clear. Amelia Earhart was destined for something greater. By 1937, she was already a legend, setting records and redefining what women could achieve in aviation. But her ultimate challenge, a flight around the world, would become the mystery that still haunts history. With navigator Fred Noonan, Amelia set off in her Lockheed Electra, pushing through thousands of miles with precision. But as they neared Howland Island on July 2nd, 1937, everything unraveled. Radio transmissions became frantic. Then, silence. Despite an unprecedented search, neither she, Noonan, nor the aircraft were ever found.
Day and night messages alternating between hope and disappointment crackle from the South Seas.
Some say she crashed into the ocean. Others claim she lived in secrecy. But there's a stranger theory, one that suggests she was taken, not by forces of this world, but by something beyond. Distorted radio signals, unexplained sightings, even whispers of an aircraft intercepted mid-air. Could she have been pulled from the sky by something unknown? If so, where did she go? And is she still out there somewhere? Max Spiers.
I've been under psychic attack, under astral attack.
Max Spiers had a way of making people uneasy, not in a bad way, but in that, what if he's actually right kind of way. He spent years unraveling what he believed were deep secrets. Shadow organizations, hidden agendas, and forces that didn't want to be named. Then, in July 2016, he was gone. A healthy 39-year-old man found lifeless on a sofa in Poland, far from home.
You don't just lie on a sofa and die. Something happens.
The official cause, unclear. The circumstances, even murkier. The theories came fast. Some whispered about secret experiments, mind control, and interdimensional conflicts. Others believed he was silenced before he could reveal something big. Then there was the bizarre detail, reports of a black liquid, and that's the kind of thing that keeps conspiracy circles buzzing. His mother said he knew he was in danger, that if something happened, people needed to dig deeper, and dig they did. His story, tangled with strange encounters, cryptic warnings, and an investigation that led nowhere, became legend. Maybe Max knew more than he should have. Maybe he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Either way, the silence surrounding his final days speaks volumes. Mystery flight? The skies are full of mysteries, but Pan Am Flight 914 is definitely one of the weirdest. Back in 1955, this plane took off from New York, heading to Miami, and just vanished from radar, like it just disappeared into thin air. Air traffic controllers were totally baffled because it was like it never existed. Then, 3 decades later, it popped back up out of nowhere. But here's the wild part. Nobody on board remembered a thing. They hadn't aged a day, and it was like no time had passed at all. People started talking about time warps, and some even joked about aliens, but the truth is, no one really knows what happened. Was it a glitch in reality or something we can't even wrap our heads around? Even now, the disappearance of Flight 914 remains one of the most puzzling mysteries in aviation. 92 skeletons. On September 4th, 1954, a commercial flight took off from Aachen, Germany, loaded with 92 passengers and crew. Out of nowhere, it disappeared from radar. No distress signals, no hints of anything being wrong. Experts were completely stumped. Was it bad weather, technical glitches, or something crazier? Theories ran wild, from turbulence to alien abductions. Jump ahead to 1989, and the flight just showed up in Brazil. But here's the kicker. Everyone on board was just skeletal remains, like they were frozen in time. How did that even happen? Some people thought it was a time travel story, while others believed it was a cover-up. Either way, Santiago Flight 513 leaves us with questions. Was it a tragic accident or something we just can't wrap our heads around yet? Glenn Miller. On December 15th, 1944, the music world lost one of its greatest legends. Without a trace, Glenn Miller, the iconic American big band leader, boarded a UC-64 Norseman aircraft bound for Paris to entertain Allied troops during World War II. But somewhere over the English Channel, the plane vanished into history. No wreckage, no distress signals, no remains, just gone. Theories about Miller's disappearance have swirled for decades. Some point to poor weather conditions or mechanical failure as the likely culprits. Others believe he may have been abducted by aliens, or even have entered some kind of portal after Germans were building many insane technologies back then, which added a layer of intrigue to his already mysterious fate. Without concrete evidence, the truth remains as elusive as the music he left behind. Timeless, haunting, and full of unanswered questions. Kenny Veach. Kenny Veach wasn't the kind of guy to back down from a challenge. A long-distance hiker and adventurer, he had a knack for exploring the unknown. But in late 2014, he stumbled onto something that even he couldn't explain. A cave shaped like a perfect M, hidden somewhere near Nellis Air Force Base. The moment he approached it, his body vibrated with an unsettling energy. It wasn't fear, he insisted, but something unnatural. He turned back, but the cave never left his mind. Determined to prove its existence, he returned with his camera, documenting his search, but the desert gave nothing away. Critics called him a fraud, while others warned him to stay away. One comment stood out, a chilling warning: if you find that cave, don't go in, you won't get out. But Kenny wasn't one to quit. On November 10th, 2014, he set off alone. He never returned. His phone was later found near an abandoned mine shaft, but his body was never recovered. Some believe he succumbed to the elements. Others say he found something he was never meant to see. Either way, the M Cave remains a mystery. Alien abduction. Jim Sullivan had a voice that could echo through the desert and lyrics that hinted at something beyond the ordinary. In 1975, he packed up his Volkswagen Beetle and hit the road, bound for Nashville with dreams of making it big. But somewhere along Route 66, those dreams took a detour into the unknown. His car was found near Santa Rosa, New Mexico, untouched, with his wallet, clothes, and even his beloved guitar still inside. But Jim, gone without a trace. Some say he met trouble in the vast, unforgiving desert, whether from the elements or a more human threat. Others whisper about personal demons leading him away from the life he knew. And then there's the eerie connection to his final album, UFO, a record filled with haunting lyrics about mysterious disappearances and encounters beyond this world. Was it just artistic imagination, or did Jim somehow predict his own fate? Whatever the truth, his vanishing act remains unsolved, leaving behind only his music and a mystery that refuses to fade. Philip Schneider. Philip Schneider wasn't just any geologist, at least that's what he claimed. Throughout the mid-1990s, he spoke out about secret underground military bases, extraterrestrial encounters, and shadowy government operations. His most infamous claim, that he helped construct the highly classified Dulce base in New Mexico and was involved in a fatal 1979 firefight between US military forces and hostile alien entities. According to Schneider, the battle resulted in heavy casualties and exposed deep government ties with extraterrestrials. His allegations went beyond just alien warfare. He spoke of secret treaties, advanced technology, and a global agenda hidden from the public eye. But in January 1996, he was found lifeless in his apartment, officially ruled it as a desperate act. A lot of people thought the situation was shady, noticing some odd details and wondering if there was a cover-up going on. His demise just added to the mystery, sparking rumors that Schneider might have known too much. Even now, what he revealed continues to create buzz. Reptilian royals. For years, theories have swirled that the British royal family isn't just elite, they're something else entirely. Some believe they are part of an ancient bloodline of reptilian beings secretly controlling global affairs. The idea stems from the reptilian core of the human brain, linked to instinct and survival, suggesting a deeper connection to something non-human. Then there are the eyes. Blurry footage of the former queen allegedly revealing slit-like pupils, a telltale sign of reptilian ancestry. Even Buckingham Palace raises questions. A fortress of secrecy, strange rituals, and highly trained corgis. Some say they guard more than just the queen's safety. Official sources deny it all, but the theory remains. Were the royals simply born to rule, or is something else pulling the strings? Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.